Okay, now here's Paul and Pauline. This is my brother Paul and his wife Pauline, and we're out at Wisehaven.
Wisehaven is the swimming club that families joined at that time. And it was just a wonderful thing for all of our children. They learned to swim there, and we had such good relationships with so many of our friends.
There's Betty in the water.
Bill?
Right, Bill. That's
Pauline.
That's just an overall view of the club, of the swimming pool, part of it. You see how much ground there was to it. And we were there practically every Sunday afternoon during the summer. There with all of our friends, and kids all swam and had a good time, and we used to play bridge. Of course, there's Betty.
Paul and Pauline were visiting us from New Orleans. They had come up for a vacation.
If somebody getting ready to leave, got a pack of clothes on my back. About one of our trips.
Look at the suitcases that we had.
Yeah, these are all the clothes that we're getting ready to go with the Corcoran girls next to Carol. And this is the harbor down in Baltimore. Show the children the ships, and then we went out to Fort McHenry. Took the children there on our travels. On that travel, there's Barg leading them to the Star Spangled Banner at Fort McHenry, where it was written. This is inside the fort, reading the history of it, and what took place. You know, all those suitcases, whenever we traveled, each child took a suitcase of their own clothes, so that when they got to wherever we were staying overnight, they had it. There was another stop, which was on the west side of Baltimore, the Enchanted Forest. Took someone through that. Nothing like being in an enchanted forest. Each of these had one of the fairy tales. There's Mom going. There's Jonah and the whale. There's the children getting into the whale to find Jonah.
This is the forerunner of Disney World. It's kind of been enhanced since these days.
Oh, sorry we can't read that, but we're back out at Wisehaven Swim Club.
This was probably on a weekend afternoon, because this is how many people turned out for that, for the weekend. It was just delightful. I went almost every day with the children, but it was the weekends that really brought the families out. I remember going with the playpen when the
That's
Jim.
There's
and
Carol there with her horse.
There's John.
John going off.
Good, John.
Yeah. It didn't take him long to learn how to swim. Right back.
That's Bill, and
There comes Bill. And Betty.
Betty had a nice stroke. Look at that.
Yep, Betty, she's going to get even with Bill. Boy, push him under. That's Joe Cravata sitting there at the swimming pool with spy glasses, field glasses, looking at the children, keep track of them. Yeah, with Cal swimming. There's the kiddies pool. There's Mom with Carol. There's Dad doing his stuff. Look at that perfect dive. And Betty getting ready to go off the board. A little bit flat, but it's all right. And Bill, they're ready to go. He got lazy and sat down and just thought about it, got a better seat, and then just rolled off. There I am. Hey, how you like that backflip? Not too good. Kept on going backwards, but it was a lot of fun. Here I am off of the high board there now. Well, I was going up. I didn't quite do the swan. It was just a straight dive. And Bill again with his feet. This time he jumped off. Not jumped off, he dove off. And Betty lines herself up before she goes and then falls in. Here I am. Boy, look at this back forward. I had to show you children how to dive. There's Bill doing a handstand off the low board. And after the day was done, we all had to leave again.
I remember those robes and those towels. Into the washer they went as soon as we got home.
Betty, yeah.
Glamour. Look at those sunglasses. They were a bedraggled bunch, but they had a good time. I always looked round-shouldered because I was always leaning over to hold on to somebody's hand.
But this trip to Washington, D.C. is where we'd go down there and stay with Sis and Larry, and they had fixed up the basement of their home in Arlington, and the children stayed down there, and the adults stayed upstairs, and it was real nice. Here are Betty and Bill on the porch at one of the porches of the Capitol, overlooking the mall, and now this overlooking Pennsylvania Avenue. Here they are smelling the flower. This is at Lincoln Memorial. Mom. Yeah. Washington Monument. This is Washington Monument from the Lincoln Memorial. And the White House. This is the one which is the front, which is the back of the White House, but this is the side with the porches so famous and has the prettiest view. Here we are out at the National Airport, and notice the little bit of traffic, the parking meters. You could just drive up National Airport, park your car at a meter, and take a tour of the airport and go in.
Notice the vintage of the cars.
That would be Jim, Carol. All right, from the airport, we went down to Mount Vernon, George Washington's home. And this is a beautiful area and a site. I always wondered after I was there, why did George ever leave the country? Just enjoying the view and the weather. It was a perfect day. That's the Potomac River that George and Martha used to see from their home. It was just a gorgeous spot.
We are down at the crypts. I think Martha and George Washington are buried there. And this is what a scene of that.
That's where they're buried. That's okay. This would be Larry's place there. He's cooking up a barbecue. He's fanning the stuff, and that's my cousin Margaret. We call her Sis. Looked like we're holding Jim. Larry's getting the fire going. Marg and Carol. Betty's on the right there, and Sis Larry. Okay, we went back to Greensburg, Pennsylvania, and visited some of our former neighbors, and these are the Gribbons.
This is Katie Gribben. Isn't she darling?
Gribbons had the big farm, you might say, down at the foot of the street there that we lived on.
That's Kate and Pat Gribben with me. Kate would like to see this picture, I'll bet.
Right. There they are with their Dalmatian dog.
That area is so built up now.
Yeah, now we're with the Long. That's the Long's daughter.
Mm-hmm.
There with Carol. And this is the Hogue residence. Hogues were our neighbor. Built a house same time, moved in just about the same time we did in Greensburg. Let's see who we're with there now.
I think that's Long's son. Their oldest was a girl, and then their youngest was the son.
Right there. That's John with his baseball suit on. This is up at, I was wondering if that's Craig, because this is up at Allen and Al.
That could have been
Yeah,
Craig.
that was Craig up there, because we visited them. They lived in a house up the hill from where we lived in Greensburg. And that's Father Jim Reilly. At that time, I don't think he was a priest. But,
mm-hmm.
I don't remember which wedding anniversary this was.
Well,
this was your mother and dad's?
1957. I don't know. I can't remember. Well, they were married in 1916.
1916, that's 56, had been their 40th.
It must have been. This is the skyline of Pittsburgh at that time. It certainly has changed. He must have been crossing a bridge.
Right, there's no doubt about that. Crossing the bridge, they're looking at the point.
Mm-hmm. Here comes another of the famous 4th of July parades.
All right, there goes Carol, Jim.
5 little firecrackers. That's what our kids were. Look, they have the firecracker hats on. They were rolled oats boxes painted red with a piece of rope sticking out the front top. And they won a prize. See the firecracker on Jim's head? All of their heads. Oh, that was so much fun.
There's his prize. Jim got a prize for being a firecracker. There was another one there. They went up dressed up like Uncle Sam. That wasn't one of ours. But these are the other costumes that the children wore. There's a potato sack race. They had going. They had games there at the school grounds.
That looks like one
Is
of
that
them.
Betty?
I think so.
Is that Betty?
I think so.
Going? Right. Watch this girl.
She
cheats. Right. She didn't touch the pole. But that's how you get your team to win. She was having trouble. Oh, came out of the sack.